and welcome to the Discover History YouTube channel. It is Armed Forces Day, the culmination of our week of videos for Armed Forces Week. It is also our 100th video and I've got the privilege of delivering it, and I've had a haircut for the occasion. Now, I haven't yet spoken about the British Army in my videos, so today that's what I'm going to do, but specifically I'm going to talk about the infantry, because without boots on the ground you can't hold ground. Now, the senior infantry regiments of the British Army are the 4 Guards regiments. Now, you might imagine or be inclined to think that this is a ceremonial unit. They are ceremonial units, especially when you see them outside Buckingham Palace changing the guard, or trooping colour in front of the Queen in their red tunics and their big bearskin hats. But all 4 regiments have a proud heritage of active service for the Crown. They've got lots of battle honours. The bearskin itself is a result of their service at the Battle of Waterloo on the 18th of June 1815. During that battle, the 1st Foot Guards, as they were known then, won the honour of wearing that bearskin hat for defeating the Grenadiers of Napoleon's Old Guard, the culmination of the Battle of Waterloo. In actual fact, they defeated the chasseurs of the Imperial Guard, but that's by and by. But the Guards also at Waterloo were involved in another pivotal action for the success of that day, and that's what I want to talk about today. And that action they were involved in was the defence of Hougoumont Chateau. This is a plan of Hougoumont. Now, if anyone knows anything about Waterloo, if you don't, I'll just go through it anyway. Basically, Hougoumont Chateau, this whole ground, sat forward of both lines at Waterloo. This is orientated north to south. Wellington's army is on a ridge to the north, Montcenson Ridge, and Napoleon's army is on a ridge to the south. And Hougoumont sits sort of slap bang in the middle, in the valley in between. It's forward of the British and it's forward of the French. If I go through what this is, and we'll go through the action then. But basically what Hougoumont is a fortified chateau. Here, that's the buildings there. You've got a chateau in the middle, and then various farmhouse, various barns round it. 2 ways in, a north gate here and a south gate here. It's got a large 6-foot high wall here that encompasses some formal gardens. You've got a what's called the Great Orchard that surrounds the back there. Up at the top here is what this road here behind this hedge is called the Hollow Way. It was a bit like a hidden road that when it could send troops or supplies down from the ridge to safely get into Hougoumont buildings themselves. South of the buildings you have this open space here which is about 30 yards wide, and then you get to a large, what they call a treed hedge. Load of trees, hedgerows there. Down to the south, a very large wood and some pastures over here. So basically, you've got the British in here and you've got the French under here. Now, Waterloo is sort of well known. If you know Waterloo, it's well known for a series of actions throughout the day. You have a big artillery barrage, then you have a massed infantry attack, then you have these massed French cavalry attacks. You get the Prussians coming in, and then you get the end of the battle, you get the Old Guard striking up the ridge and then being defeated, and the whole French army collapses. So yeah, you've got pauses in the battle at Waterloo. At Hougoumont, the action goes on all day. It doesn't really cease, and it starts long before, well, in fact an hour and a half before there's any other action on the field. Right, okay. Now, action at Hougoumont really starts on the night before the big battle. Wellington sends his 4 light companies of guards in to secure the chateau. There are some French around skirmishing, and they force them away, and they occupy the farm at night, and they fortify it. They knock holes in this wall here so they can fire the muskets through. They build platforms so they can fire over the wall. They've got lots of windows they can fire out. They take slates off the roof so they can fire from the tops of the buildings. And then at 10 o'clock, Wellington withdraws the guards out of Hougoumont, except for these four light companies that are left. About 200 men, 200 guardsmen in here. But he sends down a battalion of Nassau infantry, which are Germans, that in 1813 were actually fighting on Napoleon's side as part of Confederation of the Rhine. And they are sent in, 800 of them, and they basically go through the wood and they occupy this southern border together with the guards and some German riflemen. So you've got the British really, not many in the buildings, they're all down here around these hedge lines and at the bottom of the woods. So 11:30, Napoleon sends in his first troops. The first action that he wants to do on this battlefield is a diversion, basically, because Hougoumont sits sort of in the middle of the battlefield. If he's going to attack up the ridge here, he's going to have this on his flank. He's going to have all this. You can have soldiers in these woods and here, all shooting at his men in flank. So what he wants to do is capture the woods and bottle up the men inside the chateau. Doesn't need to take the chateau, he can bottle them up. And then he can, when he's got these woods, he can build a force up round here in safety behind these woods, sheltered from the buildings because there's not many windows at this side, and he can strike up that flank of Wellington's flank up there. So 11:30, the first troops are sent in by his brother Prince Jerome. He sends a brigade in under Baudon, about 7 battalions, advance down from here. They're not that far away from here, basically, and the British see them all beginning to advance down, start shooting at them, and basically the French, these 7 battalions, attack the woods here and force the Germans and the British Guards back through the woods. It's a hard fought battle. They don't just run back up here. It takes about an hour for the French to force the Guards and the Nassauers back up here. They are basically defending every tree, every bush, causing quite a toll of casualties on the French. Eventually, of course, they get right up here. It takes about an hour, and they reach this treed hedge line. The British and Germans retreat behind it, and then the French start to smash their way through. Suddenly, the British disappear and the Germans disappear. They either go into the orchard and down into the hollow way, or over the walls, through the doors and into the buildings. Because they've suffered so many casualties in here, they seem to forget what they're really there for, which is just to capture the wood. They burst through this hedge line here, and like I say, there's a 30-metre gap here, open ground, before you get to the wall. It's basically named afterwards the killing ground. The French rush up, straight through, up against the buildings as well, and are basically slaughtered. They do reach the wall. Some try to climb over it, but they get bayoneted from the top. The loopholes in the wall that the guards have made to fire the muskets through. You've got Frenchmen trying to pull the muskets out through the holes, but normally they just get shot. This goes on for some time until the French finally break and then run back into the woods in disorder. In this first hour's fighting, there are probably 1,500 French casualties within the woods and all over this strip of land. They don't get anyone that did get over that wall was dead. So they basically have to retreat in disorder. Now, that's happened, but instead of then thinking logically what they're going to do next, Prince Jerome sends a second brigade in. Another 6 battalions of men are sent in from here to join this first brigade that's milling around the woods now in disorder. Wellington up on the ridge sees these Frenchmen start to descend into the southern part of the wood, and he sets up a howitzer battery under Captain Bull, and they start throwing their howitzer shells, which have a high trajectory, into the wood over the top of their own men, which it doesn't touch at all, and causes quite a few casualties to the French in the woods. They basically come forward again, this time forgetting about, they're still attacking here, but they decide now, well, can we go round to the west and get round here? There's a few guardsmen here which are forced back into the courtyard. Now that door is kept, that gate has been kept open so that ammunition can come in. It happened so quick that this big French force is following up closely to the guards. When they get in, they have time just to quickly shut the gates and bar them, but not that well. A large lieutenant, Lieutenant Legros, called l'Enfonceur, he grabs an axe from one of his sappers and he smashes at the gate, breaks the bar, and the French break in. There's about 30-40 Frenchmen in here. The guards do manage to close the gate behind them, force the French out, and then kill whoever's left inside. A real point of danger. Wellington reckons that breaking through that gate was a pivotal part, and shutting that gate was a pivotal part of the battle. It saved his flank, basically. Now, sources do disagree. Some say there was only one break-in. The book I've got says that the French were still milling around here, and they broke in again. But Wellington was already sending some reinforcements down. Another 4 companies of guards came down. Even though they broke in, they were chased away by these guards. Reinforcements coming in, everyone was killed inside again, and the French basically retreated out. To reinforce that disaster that's already happening, you've got they're still attacking here, they're still attacking here, they're trying to attack around here. Jerome sends in a 2nd division, comes in. You've got 24 battalions now attacking Hougoumont against 3 battalions, 2 battalions of guards and a battalion of Nassau's that are actually defending the place. This next division attacks here, takes the Great Orchard. The French are still attacking the buildings here. And while this is all going on, the French are making their massive cavalry attacks. You might wonder why the French never try to get round the outside here, but then you've got the British artillery firing in their flank, so they can't do that. Eventually, more guardsmen arrive and drive the French back out of the Great Orchard. So basically, still got a battle happening here and here, with all these 12,500 Frenchmen and 3,000 defenders defending this chateau. This goes on all afternoon. Nothing stops. It's going and going and going. Napoleon does eventually send a battery of howitzers to fire the buildings, and they do burn down the chateau, a large barn there, which causes a few casualties from the injured that are in there. But the British do not lose the chateau at all. It's still very secure. So it goes on all afternoon. Gets to 7:30. The old guard are attacking up the ridge, and Wellington sends a few more battalions down, some Brunswickers, some King's German Legion, some Hanoverians. As the guard recules, and starts to flood off the field, these battalions help the garrison clear the woods. And that is basically it. This battle has gone on all day for no reason. 12,000 men, 12,000 French men sent here, and they didn't achieve anything at all. Casualty wise, there were about 10,000 casualties from both sides, mainly around these woods areas at the end of the day. But it's a gallant guard action. I have to say, it's a really gallant guard action. 3,000 of them, 2,600 men in here against 12,000 Frenchmen. So that's it. That is in brief, the battle within a battle at Waterloo, the defence of Hougoumont Chateau. I hope you really enjoyed that video. I've enjoyed doing it. It does show that the Battle of Waterloo, even though it's a well-known battle, there are so many discrepancies. It doesn't matter who you read, something's different. Someone has a different spin on whatever, timings are different. But in all, a very interesting part of the battle. I'd recommend anyone to read about the Battle of Waterloo. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed our 100th video. Paul will be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what subject he's doing, but it's going to be interesting whatever. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye.